What does a masterpiece athlete commercial campaign actually look like? Because I'd argue we just got one this weekend. Caitlin Clark dropped 6 ads in a single opening weekend across State Farm, Gatorade, Lilly, Amazon Web Services, and Nike. And every single one of them is doing something different and doing it well. A talking stanchion pad, a 2,200-unit Gatorade collector capsule, a pharmaceutical ad that somehow connects her to Pat Summitt's legacy, and then the Nike spot, which ends with something that's been rumored for months and finally became real this weekend. How excited are you to see Caitlin back in action? Let us know down in the comments below.
You know what I respect most about you, Caitlin?
That I talk to a red foam pad even though it makes people uncomfortable?
No, it's that you put in the work night and day.
Just part of the job.
You know, State Farm's the same way. They work to help you get coverage that fits your life and budget.
I respect that.
Let's start with State Farm, because those two spots are doing more work than people give them credit for. The premise sounds ridiculous on paper. The stanchion pad on the sideline can talk, and it wants to have a conversation with Caitlin Clark. But then you actually watch See Everything and put in the work, and it clicks, because the stanchion pad isn't just a prop, it's a character they named Stan, and Stan has receipts.
Hey, Caitlin.
Hey,
You and me, we see everything. You on the court, me from up here.
you are 10 feet tall.
Runs in my family. Hey, you know who else sees everything?
State Farm.
Yeah, they look at everything to make sure you get coverage that fits your life and budget.
The bit State Farm is running is that Stan has watched Clark from 10 feet up for her entire career. So when he tells her, "You and me, we see everything," it's not a throwaway line. It's the whole point of the campaign. State Farm has been branding WNBA stanchion pads for nearly 20 years. So they're not inventing a connection to women's basketball, they're just finally giving that connection a voice. What's wild is that it works. And the reason it works is almost entirely Clark's fault, in the best way. She doesn't oversell it, doesn't mug for the camera, just plays it straight with this dry, calm delivery that makes the whole thing feel natural. That same quality is why her press conference clips go viral constantly. State Farm didn't manufacture a personality for her. They just built a concept around the one she already has.
You know what else I respect? Gary at trivia last night.
It was nothing.
Hey, Gar, tell Caitlin that game winner.
Aaron Burr!
Man's a wizard.
Put in the Work leans into the empty gym version of her story, Stan telling her that what separates her isn't talent, it's that she puts in the work night and day, which is the kind of line that could feel hollow coming from any other athlete, but lands here because it's just true. Clark grew up shooting alone in Iowa gyms, and that habit never left her, so the stanchion pad saying it out loud doesn't feel like ad copy. It feels like something the building actually knows.
I also see the camera guy wore his nifty vest again.
It's nice, huh?
Hey, you got any lip balm in there? I'm trapping like crazy.
Now, Gatorade went in a completely different direction, and the detail that makes their activation work is a single number, 2,200. Gatorade released exactly 2,200 units of their Rainberry lower sugar capsule, because Clark wears number 22, and 2,200 is just 22 scaled up. Rainberry is a throwback flavor that fans have been asking about for years, so they pulled a nostalgic favorite out of the vault, reformulated it with 75% less sugar than the original Gatorade, and tied the whole thing to Clark's identity as a player who's still hitting shots in the fourth quarter when everyone else is running on fumes. The capsule sold out in 22 minutes.
From the beginning, the W changed the game, and we called greatness from the very first tip. 30 seasons later, the talk was just fuel. Balling on the court, setting trends off it. The W isn't just raising the bar, they're redefining it. We're so back.
That's not a coincidence. That's a brand paying attention to the details of her story, down to the number of units produced. And that kind of specificity is exactly what separates a real partnership from a logo placement. Both State Farm and Gatorade are selling the same version of her, the one who showed up before anyone was watching.
People think it's like you're good at something, or you're not. But really, you set a goal and you show up. Everybody's day one looks different. And every day is day one.
Okay, so a pharmaceutical company walks into a basketball sponsorship, and your first thought is probably, this is going to be boring and corporate. But the Lily ad isn't that, and the reason it isn't comes down to one name: Pat Summitt. Lily didn't just slap Clark's face on a health campaign, they connected her to the Tennessee coach who built women's college basketball into what it is today, the same coach who went public with her early-onset Alzheimer's diagnosis in 2011 and spent her final years advocating for brain health research. Lily supported a special tribute called Celebrating Pat Summitt, the live reunion special that aired on ESPN2 in March. And Clark's role in that conversation isn't accidental. She grew up watching the sport Summitt built, and now she's carrying that health advocacy forward in a way that actually makes sense for who she is.
But if you wait to feel ready, you're never gonna start. You let yourself be bad at it. And then you look up one day and you're like, oh, I can do this now. So start somewhere. Start anywhere. Just start how you can.
The ad itself avoids the polished, unrealistic health commercial playbook entirely. It features everyday people, different ages, different bodies, and the line that sticks is this one: but if you wait to feel ready, you're never going to start. That's not pharmaceutical copy, that's just something true. And it lands because it connects to Clark's own story of outworking everyone before anyone was paying attention. Lily isn't selling Clark to sports fans here. They're selling her to families, caregivers, and women who follow health causes but might not know a pick and roll from a post-up. And that's an audience none of her other brand partners are reaching. Then there's AWS, and yes, that's Amazon Web Services, and yes, it's a basketball commercial, and it actually works. Clark's role in their Inside the Game platform isn't to hold a tablet and look tech-savvy. AWS built fan-facing analytics tools specifically around her game, so when you're watching her pull up from 32 feet, the platform shows you real-time shot difficulty data, court coverage metrics, and shooting efficiency numbers that make you understand exactly how hard what she just did actually was. They're rolling out 2 new stats this season: WNBA gravity and WNBA shot difficulty. And Clark's deep range is basically the reason those metrics exist.
Yeah, let's go. The biggest. I'm a rapper and a baller, baby. It's no other foe. Millionaire straight out of college, baby. I been by my dough. When you pop it, they gon' follow crazy. That's just how it go. And I know that this my calling, but don't ask me how I know. Cause I'm bust to bust, jet to jet. I be out there on the road, from the court to the booth to the front cover of Vogue. Point one out there said they harder than me. They gon' get exposed.
AWS became the WNBA's official cloud and cloud AI partner through this deal, which is the first time they've partnered with a women's professional sports league at all. Kristen Schaff, AWS's Global Director of Strategic Partnerships, confirmed they're using cloud and AI capabilities to elevate the fan experience and support the continued growth of women's basketball. Tech companies at this level usually point their sports money at the NFL or NBA. So the fact that Clark's audience pulled AWS into a women's league partnership tells you something real about where the viewership numbers have gone since she turned pro.
When Clark was growing up in Iowa, already running circles around the boys, her dad took her to see a WNBA game in Minnesota. She returned home hell-bent on adding distance to her jump shot.
I'm begging my dad to tear up some grass and pour more concrete so I could have an entire three-point line in my driveway.
Did that really happen? You extended your range by dumping more concrete?
Yeah, because it was kind of slanted. Our driveway was slanted, so I only had a three-point line on one side of the driveway. So I told my dad he had to tear up all this grass, and he did.
Nobody saw coming. The Nike ad opens in a driveway, and if you know Clark's story at all, that's not a coincidence. She actually asked her dad to pour extra concrete at their house in Iowa so she could have a full three-point line to practice on. Nike didn't invent that detail, they just filmed it, and the whole commercial builds outward from there.
Hey, Caitlin! Can you make it from there?
Hey, Caitlin, how about from here?
Come on, guys.
Yeah, she can't make it from there. No chance.
Caitlin, from me to left? You got it.
I'm not even gonna ask.
Hey, Caitlin, from here might be impressive. Am I right?
Whatever, Che.
From right here.
From there!
The boys wanna be her, the child wanna be her.
From anywhere.
From anywhere works like this. Clark's shooting alone, and then a series of people show up to tell her she can't make the shot from wherever she's standing. Jason Kelce appears on screen and says, "Yeah, she can't make it from there," and Travis responds with, "No chance." Then Travis Scott shows up, then Michael Chi, and finally Lisa Bluter, her actual college coach, standing next to Clark's retired number 22 at Carver Hawkeye Arena, who just looks at her and says, "I'm not even going to ask." Every single time, Clark makes it anyway, and the whole thing builds to a fever game where she buries a logo 3 to close it out, then turns and delivers the final line straight to camera. The celebrity casting could have easily felt random, like Nike just called whoever was available, but each person is there for a specific reason. The Kelce brothers bring NFL credibility and a fan base that doesn't necessarily follow the WNBA. Travis Scott connects the ad to a music and streetwear audience that Nike clearly wants in Clark's orbit. Michael Che brings the comedy, and his history with Clark from SNL makes it feel like a callback rather than a cold cameo. Bluter is the one who grounds all of it, because she's not a celebrity. She's the real person who coached Clark through 4 years in Iowa City and watched her break every record imaginable.
Hey, Caitlin, you're a pretty good basketball player, but you make it from here. Jason, show them how you make it rain from downtown.
Can you hit it from here, Caitlin? Gotta make your free throws.
From right here. Yep, hold on. Bet you can't do that, Caitlin.
Anyone else?
So the ad travels from a driveway in Iowa to a professional arena in Indianapolis. And that distance is earned because it's just what actually happened to her. Now, about that announcement. Buried inside the commercial, not on a billboard or a press release, is the confirmation that Clark's signature shoe drops in September 2026. Her 8-year, $28 million Nike deal has been public since she signed it in April 2024. And the CC mark has been showing up on merchandise for months, but nobody had a confirmed release date until this ad ran during WNBA opening weekend. September means mid-season, which is deliberate. The commercial creates one cultural moment now, and the shoe creates a second one later in the year when the opening weekend buzz has faded.
It's one of them ones that's going to set the market on fire and really help Nike's stock, I believe. And whatever the reason for the delay, some of it could just be the production and how long it takes to put all these things together, put a plan like this in place, put a rollout in place.
Only 2 other active WNBA players currently carry signature Nike lines, and industry analysts have already predicted Clark's shoe could grow into a $100 million franchise. Nike signed her for 8 years because they're not thinking about this season. None of this came with a commercial, but the Wilson deal belongs right here in this conversation because it's the one that puts everything else in context. Wilson gave Clark the first signature basketball deal since Michael Jordan. Not the first in women's basketball, not the first in the WNBA, the first for any basketball player since Jordan. Wilson hasn't built a signature product line around a specific player's name and identity in decades, and then Clark came along and they did it again.
Her signature shoe also on the way. That was part of this deal as well. Nick DePaula, who's an expert on all that, wrote this on X as well. Caitlin Clark's anticipated Nike signature shoe is expected to launch in spring 2026. And then there's a quote from Caitlin: Nike's signature roster features all-time greats, and I am incredibly proud to join some of the best athletes in the world. I'm excited to share a first look at what we've created together.
So now her portfolio covers equipment through Wilson, footwear through Nike, insurance through State Farm, hydration through Gatorade, health through Lily, and enterprise technology through AWS, all at the same time, all at a featured or signature level. There's no blueprint for that in women's basketball because nobody's done it before. The brands didn't coordinate this, they just all arrived at the same conclusion around the same window, which tells you something about what the viewership and merchandise numbers actually look like behind closed doors. When you line up all 6 commercials and watch them back to back, you're not looking at a brand strategy, you're looking at a person. State Farm shows you the work ethic, the empty gym, the stanchion pad that's been watching since before anyone else cared. Gatorade shows you where she's from, the number 22, the throwback flavor, the 2,200 units that sold out in 22 minutes. Lily connects her to Pat Summitt's legacy and puts her in front of families and caregivers who've never watched a Fever game. AWS turns her shooting range into a data product that casual fans can actually understand. Nike starts in a driveway and ends in a professional arena in Indianapolis, and every shot in between is real.
It's coming. And I think what it really means is, number one, Nike is going all in on Caitlin Clark after a while, after a little bit of a dormant period. Number two, 2026 is going to be just absolutely massive for her from a marketing standpoint because of that injury. And, because there's going to be such a thirst and hunger to see her play.
For Fever fans, this commercial slate means Lexi Hull, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Sophie Cunningham are all walking into the 2026 season inside a spotlight that didn't exist at this level before Clark arrived. And that's not nothing. The national camera time, the packed arenas, the merchandise sales, all of it lifts the whole roster, not just the player at the center of it. Industry analysts are already projecting Clark's signature Nike shoe line could grow into a $100 million business and rank among the top 5 signature shoe franchises across all of basketball. Nike signed her for 8 years. Wilson brought back a deal structure they hadn't used since Jordan. AWS committed to the WNBA for the first time ever. Gatorade pulled a retired fan-favorite flavor out of storage and reformulated it around her jersey number. State Farm built a multi-spot narrative campaign around a single women's basketball player, which they'd never done before at this level. Every one of those brands runs on data, and the data all pointed in the same direction. 6 commercials in one weekend, a signature shoe confirmed for September, and a Wilson deal that puts her name in a category that's been empty since Michael Jordan. She pulled in $16.1 million in 2025, and $16 million of that came from endorsements alone, not her salary. Her actual Fever paycheck was less than 1% of her total earnings that year. She missed 2025 with injuries, all 13 games she played, and the Fever still made the playoffs without her. Now she's healthy, the shoe drops mid-season, and every major brand already paid for their seat at the table. How excited are you to see Caitlin back in action? Let us know down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.